You have a great first date. The connection is electric. You go home, you're buzzing. You send a text the next morning, had such an amazing time with you. And you get back, LOL, yeah, it was fun. Or worse, you get nothing at all. You spend the next 3 days staring at your phone, wondering what you did wrong, replaying every moment. If that sounds familiar, if you've ever felt like you're putting in all the effort only to be met with a brick wall, then you've been a victim of a brutal, unspoken rule of attraction. My name is Gilk, and I spend way too much time thinking about why the more you give, the less they value you. It's a paradox that drives people crazy, and it's the reason so many promising connections fizzle out into nothing. If you're someone who constantly finds yourself in an imbalance of giving and receiving, where your energy and investment aren't being matched, make sure you subscribe and give this video a like if it helps you out. Because today, we're dissecting the psychological phenomenon that's sabotaging your love life, the law of reversed effort. Here's the thing. We're raised on a diet of romantic comedies and fairy tales that tell us love conquers all, that if you just try hard enough, show them how much you care, and prove your devotion, you'll win their heart. But in the real world, that's terrible advice. In fact, it's often the exact opposite of what works. Look, think of your energy, your attention, and your emotional investment like a currency. Let's call them relationship coins. Every time you text first, plan a date, offer a compliment, or go out of your way for someone, you're spending a coin. In a healthy dynamic, the spending is more or less balanced. You spend a coin, they spend a coin. But what happens when you start spending all your coins and they're just holding on to theirs? You're essentially flooding the market with your currency. And basic economics tells us that when there's a surplus of something, its value plummets. You become cheap, easy, abundant, and human psychology is wired to devalue what is abundant and crave what is scarce. This isn't just a cynical take on dating, it's a well-documented psychological principle. The author Aldous Huxley called it the law of reversed effort. He wrote, "The harder we try with the conscious will to do something, the less we shall succeed." It sounds crazy, right? But you've experienced this in other parts of your life. Ever had a night where you couldn't sleep? You lie in bed, eyes squeezed shut, screaming at your brain, "Go to sleep." The more you force it, the more awake you become. Sleep only comes when you let go, when you stop trying so hard and let your mind drift. Or think about learning to ride a bike. At first, you're overthinking every little movement. Balance here, pedal there, don't fall, and you wobble and crash. You only succeed when you relax and let your body take over. The conscious effort gets in the way. Love and attraction work the same way. The more you consciously try to force a connection, the more you push it away. So why does this happen? Why does caring less seem to attract people more? It boils down to a few powerful psychological triggers. First, there's the concept of perceived mate value. This is what most people don't realize. Your attractiveness isn't a fixed number. It changes based on how other people perceive your value in the dating market. When you're constantly available, always initiating, and basically communicating "I'll do anything to be with you," you signal that your value is low. You're on the clearance rack. A person who is busy, has their own life, and isn't desperately seeking validation signals high value. They are a scarce resource, something to be earned. Here's where it gets really interesting. Researchers at the University of Rochester and the Interdisciplinary Center Herzliya decided to put this to the test. In a 2020 study published in the Journal of Social and Personal Relationships, they examined the playing hard to get strategy. What they found was stunning. Making the chase harder demonstrably increased a potential mate's desirability. Professor Harry Rice, one of the study's authors, put it bluntly. People who are too easy to attract may be perceived as more desperate. That makes them seem less valuable and appealing. In their experiments, participants who had to expend more effort to get the attention of a potential mate rated that partner as more valuable and more sexually desirable. When you make someone work for your attention, your brain has to justify the effort. It does this by telling itself, wow, this person must be really special if I'm trying this hard. You're not just playing a game, you're literally hacking their reward system. Let's illustrate this with a story. Meet Sarah and Tom. They go on a date, and it's great. Tom is interested. Scenario A. The next day, Sarah texts Tom, and again that afternoon. She suggests 3 different times they can meet up next week. She's already cleared her schedule. She's spending her relationship coins like they're going out of style. Tom's subconscious brain, the part that drives attraction, starts to sound an alarm. Why is she trying so hard? Is she this available for everyone? Maybe she's not as much of a catch as I thought. Her perceived value drops. Tom's replies get shorter. He gets busy. The spark is gone. Scenario B. The next day, Sarah is busy with work and friends. Tom texts her first. They have a brief, fun exchange. When he asks her out again, she says, "I'd love to. I'm a bit swamped this week, but I'm free on Thursday night. Would that work?" She's shown interest, but she's also signaled that she has a full, valuable life that doesn't revolve around him. She is scarce. Her value goes up. Now, Tom is the one thinking about how to win her over. He's the one spending his coins. Now, you might be thinking, Gilk, this sounds like playing games. I don't want to be manipulative. I want to be authentic. And I get that. But let's reframe this. This isn't about being a manipulative jerk. It's about self-respect. It's about recognizing that your time, your energy, and your heart are valuable. You don't just hand them over to anyone who shows a flicker of interest. You invest wisely. Being hard to get isn't about ignoring texts or being cold. It's about being genuinely busy living an awesome life. It's about having passions, hobbies, friends, and goals that you are not willing to drop at a moment's notice for a stranger. Authenticity is not spilling your guts and offering up your entire future on the second date. That's not authenticity, that's a lack of boundaries. True authenticity is respecting yourself enough to let a connection unfold naturally without forcing it. Another thing I hear is, but if I don't show enough interest, won't they just move on? Look, this is the crucial part. The strategy isn't to be a cold, uninterested robot. The Rochester study was clear on this. The hard-to-get strategy works best when you show initial interest, but then introduce a level of challenge and uncertainty. You're not a locked door, you're a treasure chest that requires a key. You're communicating, I'm interested, but you have to earn me. If someone moves on because you didn't reply to their text within 30 seconds, or because you had plans on a Friday night, what does that tell you? It tells you they were looking for something easy and convenient, not something valuable. You've saved yourself time, energy, and a whole lot of heartache. It's a filtration system. It weeds out the low-effort people and attracts the high-effort ones. So how do we put this into practice? It's not about being a fraud. It's about knowing your worth. The key is to become the prize. Build a life you love by yourself. Fill your calendar with things that excite you. When you're genuinely busy and fulfilled, you naturally become scarce and more attractive. Your energy shifts from please pick me to show me why I should pick you. Don't forget to subscribe and let me know in the comments if you've ever seen the law of reversed effort in your own life. I'll see you in the next one.